Good afternoon. This is the Starkville Daily News Digital Express for this week. I'm Danny P. Smith, sports editor. Robbie Faulk is our high school beat writer, and this is an interesting time, Robbie, for high school basketball with division tournaments right in the middle of things. We had a interesting first half of the week. Tuesday night there were some interesting games. Starkville High is hosting the 6A Region 3 tournament this year. For the first time, they've hosted a division tournament since 2015, I think Greg Carter told me. So it's been about 5 years, and they're taking advantage of it so far. The boys and the girls both won the other night, and a young man made a triumphant return to the court, Zeke Cook. He's come back from injury, and there was a lot of excitement about his return.
Yeah, Starkville's pretty much owned district tournament the last few years, several years. Since Greg Carter and Christy Williams have both been there, they've pretty much owned the district. And now you get a chance to host, and it's going to be really difficult to knock both of those teams out. But for Starkville, if you add a guy like Zeke Cook into the mix this late in the process, that's been, he's relatively fresh. He had that ankle injury, and that was a kind of a persistent thing. He had to have surgery on it. They weren't expecting him back at all, and now he's coming back late in the season. That's a guy that was going to be, possibly a Danny Dozen player, definitely a guy that's going to be up for Player of the Year honors in district. And now, the team has really made it without him and competed for, the best team in the state, the entire season. You add him in the mix, and this is a very, very dangerous team down the stretch. Starkville's really learned to play without Zeke, and they've played a relatively small lineup all year. They play with 5 guys that can all shoot the ball. And now you add a big guy in the mix, it's going to be really difficult to beat them, especially if Zeke can give them some quality minutes each game. He doesn't even have to come in there and play most of the ball game and score 20 points. He can come in there and get you a few rebounds, a few baskets, and they're going to be really difficult to stop.
Yeah, I know he didn't appear quite as mobile as he did before the injury in the short time that I had a chance to see him play the other night, but he was providing them some good minutes. And like you say, they really didn't have a post presence per se, and now that they've got him back, it's going to be really interesting to see. But Starkville High girls, it was good to see them win the other night. They were able to beat Greenville, a team that they had lost to at Greenville. They split with them in the regular season, but now they get another shot at Germantown. Germantown has beaten them twice, so it's going to take a really big effort for Christy's girls to beat this team, but they seem to be getting better and better, and she's got some players that are stepping up in critical times.
Right, and this is anybody's ball game because Starkville's been within 2 points both times against them. And last time they played at Starkville, which was last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago, they had a coast-to-coast layup to win the ball game. Germantown did. So this is a very winnable game for Starkville, and it's a big opportunity for Christy's young team to come out there and compete for a championship and learn how to win a championship, because this team's going to be, competing for them for the next couple of years, maybe even beyond that. And this is kind of a transition year for Christy too. It hasn't been one of her best teams, but they're playing hard for her, and they're learning every single ball game. They've gotten a lot better as the year has gone on. And now, you got a chance to win a district championship, and then playoffs will start next week, and they really have a chance to make a little run. So big game for them, and it should be a great one at the Nest. I think that's going to be a really fun atmosphere for both ball games, but especially, that girls game should be a really good one.
Yeah, it's good they play back-to-back because all the Starkville people can get there at one time and support both games. But you've been kind of camped out at East Webster this week, and what's impressed you about the region tournament over there, Region 2, I believe it is, in 2A?
Yeah, we're super busy. I don't think we've ever experienced this where 2 different schools are hosting district tournaments since I've been here at the same time. But we got East Webster and Eupora that are playing in that one, in Cumberland. East Webster girls had a bye in the first round. They'll play later tonight as we record this on Thursday against Jay-Z George, is that correct?
I think that's right.
Or Bruce. And that was a good ball game last time those 2 teams played in the regular season. The boys got a big win in their ball game against Bruce, a team that beat them in the last minute. So that was the first district win that the boys have had this season, and this has really been a tough year for East Webster boys. They're kind of breaking in a lot of new faces, And, Coach John Ginn's just trying to find a way for those guys to get over the hump, and they finally did. They lost all 3 of their 4 losses in district play this year were in the final minute, and one of those was against Bruce. Calhoun City's now up for them, the number 1 team in the district. That's coming up on Thursday night. Big ball game for East Webster. They'll have a great crowd there, and they're going to be challenged tremendously. And then you got Eupora boys, who I think won 4 games all year, but 2 of them were in district, so they get the number 2 seed, and they'll play tonight against Jay-Z George, and they have a chance to book their spot in the district championship. So busy night in Cumberland. You're going to have 3 teams playing over there in that tournament, and any of them can compete for a title. I think, to me, the most impressive team out of that bunch is East Webster girls, and it's going to be interesting to see what they can do, especially in a home environment like they're going to have.
Yeah, and anybody that's been over to East Webster knows they've got a really nice facility for the little dome over in Cumberland to play basketball. But we'll wrap it up by just mentioning the Mississippi State women's team. Both teams are on the road. Mississippi State men lost a tough one in Oxford on Tuesday night. The Mississippi State women are still on the roll. Vic Schaefer's got his young team playing so well, and they go to a place where it's been difficult for them to play in the past on Sunday, and that's to Kentucky.
Yeah, I asked Vic Schaefer about this earlier in the year, or the other day, about the people's impressions earlier in the year of this schedule when they're looking at it, and you look at Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Kentucky in 3 consecutive ball games. 2 of those are going to be on the road, and they were all top 25 opponents. Top 20 now that you get this far in the season, and they have an opportunity to go 3-0 during that stretch and continue to keep pace for the SEC championship. I know South Carolina's got to lose a game or 2 for State to get that, but I think Vic Schaefer would have taken this all day if he's looking preseason at his team, and you tell him he's going to go 3-0 during the stretch.
Right.
But it's going to be a difficult one for MSU. But this team's been unusually confident, and they've been really steady in tough environments. They went to South Carolina, lost by 2 points, played a really good ball game against Tennessee, beat them by 17 on the road. Kentucky's going to have Ryan Howard back, the freshman of the year from last season, and she's making a case for player of the year in the SEC. She's back from her injury, so that's going to make things tougher for the Bulldogs. But if they get past this game, then you're looking at a team that's in really good shape over the last few weeks.
Yeah, and Vic Schaefer continues to win with this team and this program, and he's got them to a point now there doesn't seem to be any drop off at all. So it's nice to see them. And maybe Mississippi State men have another tough road game at Arkansas on Saturday, so they need a real big bounce back win against a team that they beat at home a few weeks back, I believe, if I'm remembering right.
Right.
But basketball rules the roost this time of year. Postseason is here, and it's an awful fun time, and we'll keep up with it in the Starkville Daily News. So until next week, y'all take care.